Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a very special presentation on MSME support ecosystem in Tamil Nadu by Mr. M. Sreevatsan, Zonal General Manager, NSIC Ministry of MSME. He comes with over 28 years of experience in the MSME domain and has served various capacities with the National Small Industries Corporation, a Government of India enterprise under the Ministry of MSME. He is at his southern states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Pondicherry as Zonal General Manager. Work closely with different clusters of MSMEs including Coimbatore, involve pump motor clusters, foundry cluster, textile fraternity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like all of you to please put your hands together and let's welcome Mr. Sreevatsan on stage.
Thank you. A warm evening to you all. Chennai is getting warmer, sir. So, for somebody walking in from Bangalore, yeah. And it's always and I can assure you, I'm not great in singing lullabies. So that's a disclaimer. Of course, it's always a privilege to be a part of in the midst of a sector where it's the dynamism is dynamic. So it's like even we can call yesterday's vintage in this sector. So when we are involved in such a sector, we talk innovation and we talk so many other things, and we always expect things out of the market. From the governmental sector, we also feel that we have to be matching you in that areas of innovation or reorienting ourselves rather than just expecting. I think the previous panel discussion was also about that. How do we orient ourselves toward the market and what takeaways we can always have? And the ecosystem, when we speak of such ecosystem, NSIC has always been there trying to create that ecosystem or have the foundation built so strong that any kind of extraneous things could be more of an enabler for this ecosystem. So we have been always involved in various phases of an industrial activity, and we in very layman terms can call ourselves as a one-stop shop for any MSME. And over the years the definition has been changing, and we are now looking at a medium sector cap of 250 CR, which means that anybody and everybody can actually be accommodated in that domain and extend support. In fact, people are even looking at enhancing that kind of cap on the industries also. So that being that, not having much of a time, I'll just try to go through a bird's eye view of what we may look at from the Ministry of MSME. We have always been trying to create that kind of a climate and try to address the brass tack requirements of an MSME. Today, market is all about the pricing, and it is at a price which we are, the market accepted. It's not like what we want to sell at a price, but market accepted. So MSMEs, the pressure is on the MSMEs to understand the pricing requirements and again, re-engineer themselves or, work back and see how they can get into the cost cutting or improve upon the technology. And in fact, recently I was with some global players also. In fact, MSMEs are those kind of a sector which even the global players' wish list are actually being fulfilled by us. For instance, we all have a banking limit. I'm talking a normal MSME's routine. We guys have a banking limit with them, and many walk-ins were saying that we have a lot of orders, but we are unable to meet them simply because maybe a CC limit or OD limit may not be matching to that extent. And hence we are going for credit, and which actually goes ahead and increases your pricing or your input costs. So their government has come out with some kind of a program called Raw Material Assistance Program, where supply chain, as we all know, is a very intrinsic part of our domain, particularly in our electronic sector. So there it tries to alleviate that kind of pressure on your input costs by giving a supplementary kind of a support where units are free to procure from anybody they want. They are welcome to experiment with their procurement styles without any intervention. You can procure and government foots the bill is the kind of ideology. Erstwhile, it was like 3 months of credit being offered. Now it is 180 days of credit being offered. So that kind of advantage is being given where any entrepreneur can actually go ahead and take an order and still be confident that they can go ahead and do it. So that kind of advantage is being given as far as the procurements are concerned. In fact, we have gone ahead and looked at sourcing and facilitating supply of raw materials. when we meant raw material, we were more oriented towards the engineering, the steel and everything. But I per se I always try to think out of the box, or it's sometimes we have to go out of the system to keep things in the system. I'm even open to an electronic sector kind of an indulgence where we can even look at facilitating raw material supplies or any kind of that component. We can try to source or enter into an MOUs with private players also, or the majors, so where we can get that economics of procurement advantage to even the MSMEs. For instance, I have a tie-up with NALCO. I'm just telling the engineering model, where we have about 40,000 tons of an MOU with NALCO. We get the best possible discounts of even 3,500 to 4,000, which even a 10-tonner can avail of. A similar kind of a thing, I was just wondering when I was talking to Ramchandran sir, that why not even experimented with an electronic sector where broad-based components, sir, sometime at your leisure, I'll come to you also. Maybe I can even explore that or experiment with that. So we can try to bring the aggregation kind of a model where actually we are a facilitator. NSIC donned the role of a facilitator, where we don't go individually and intervene, it's only funding or so. So we have now opened the gates so much that we can accommodate any and every kind of a requirement at best and just attempt at it. So I am even open if we can have a word with your representatives, and we can look at some broad-based components where we can actually work on to try to source, and it's always worth the experiment. So these two being the major input kind of things. In fact, we always try to look at a market. How many of us would know there is a public procurement policy in the government where it says 25% of your procurements should to be made from this MSME sector, particularly the micro small enterprises. And in that 3% is being earmarked for women entrepreneurs. And let me tell you, many of the government departments are not able to fulfill this mandate of theirs because it's a MOU parameter even on which they get assessed. So they're always on the lookout for that 3% women entrepreneur to be fulfilled, and there's a 4% reservation for the special categories, SC/ST entrepreneurs, and many times they find that, yesterday I was with HPCL, they still are not able to get over that obligation of theirs. So those who are in this kind of a domain can always broach this subject. One gentleman was, yesterday evening, he is supplying to ICF. So he is having another company in his wife's name, and he is able to take orders from that just to fulfill the 3% obligation. They are able to tap another 10 crores. I am just telling, the routines, field level kind of an approach towards business. So for all we know, we have Bell is there, and so many other sectors are there who are always willing to take up ISRO. There are so many of NS, and we do a registration for that. There is we are a statute body. We register MSEs, micro small enterprises, and by virtue of which you can participate in tenders. You can get earnest money deposit waivers when you participate in tenders. Normally, that is a dictum which we have to oblige, but which again is a drain on your working capital. There we can register you, and maybe help you to attempt such tenders. So that becomes a big opportunity for you also. And in fact, NSIC registration has now become a due diligence tool for many state departments as part of endorsing your credibility and your credentials also. And in fact, that's done by a third-party technical inspection. It's totally transparent. So we would also urge you to look into that and into government departments, because even during COVID times, many of those who were catering to government departments were still stable in their market, actually. At least it can take care of your overheads, and it's a sure shot market. So we just have to be at the click of the e-procurement portals, get yourself registered, and it's also simple. It's not like a mirage or anything like that. So when we talk about that, today a market, it's all about visibility. We have to make ourselves visible in the market, and our products also likely so. So we are talking digital. In fact, MSME ministry has come out with a portal. It's msmemart.com, where we are actually going ahead and enabling MSEs to, or anybody for that matter. This is one portal which is open even for the large enterprises. You can go ahead and put your companies on that portal, because we find a lot of traffic coming in and going out. Even the international buyers, normally they would like to know who's doing what. So they do come into that website and try to find out or scout good exporters or good sellers there. So we can actually use that opportunity. In fact, there is a 75% subsidy for the micro entrepreneurs also, and who can get a bit e-savvy and get to know about some e-commerce thing also. So it's always worth a try. And for micro guys, since the subsidy is there, it's always worth it. And for the other sectors or other category of industries, it is a good visibility, and there is an important information which is being shared there. The award of contracts. Normally when we participate, or we should get to know the pricing when you participate in tenders. There they are giving almost 20 lakh details of tenders or contracts that have been awarded and what pricing that is being awarded also. And if it so happens that it is relevant to your industry, it is a good tip which you can always use when you do participate. Well, that being, as far as the e-commerce kind of an intervention which we do, we are all now talking of exports. Every one of us do plan an export, and we want to make an attempt at that. And the market is wide open, accessibilities are so much. In fact, ministry has a first-time exporter kind of a scheme that is being given, where a first-time exporter is a legacy, they should have taken an IEC code with a 3 years legacy, and they are an eligible first-time exporter there for testing. I mean, I think this industry has a lot of testing and activities involved. If they get your products tested, that processing, testing fees is reimbursable with a cap of some 70% or so. So that is again, and it can be done 3 times in a year, because all our products, all the buyers always expect the testing and they need that product certifications. Maybe this could be an opportunity. And in fact, you can, for that, NSIC is one agency which can be routed. And just not limited to that, actually, we need a real-time intervention. Means we can actually get into we need a market information, we need your credit profiling, and we need to know the countries where we want to do. So these are all basic information which you need to get into an export market. Well, we were looking at this for a long time, and we have empaneled Dun & Bradstreet, which is an agency which has presence in international market. They have a country database of almost 120 countries, buyer information. So those those of us who are actually looking out for that, because that is the first step, right? Logical first step is know your market. In that, we are giving some subsidy for you to actually explore that kind of an opportunity, and almost 10 to 15% of subsidy is being given. It's a front-ended subsidy. All you have to do is just route your application, and we facilitate that. And they have 3 kinds of product. One is about yourself, profiling. Because even the past 2-3 weeks where I've been interacting with a lot of entrepreneurs who are into exports, they have said that they have to go and get a DNB rating or a DNB profiling, because the buyer is asking DNB about the respective units. So there, it is going to cost, and that cost can be alleviated through NSIC and maybe make most out of it. They have a database. So there again, they give some 3 months of span where you can know about 800 or 1,000 odd buyers. And they also, I understand, give the names of the guys who are doing the procurement activity. So I think that is a real grassroots level intervention which can be taken advantage of. And over the next decade, we are all in exports. The European Union or US markets, these kinds of markets, even Russia, I heard recently, are looking at ESG compliances. I mean, they say it's going to be the next decade. It's environmental, social governance compliances. So for that, normally I heard the big fours do it, which again should be a very, the packet would be excessive. But maybe Dun & Bradstreet, they also have a product in that domain. At least they give some ranking and they give a badge where you can actually flaunt it on your website and give some ranking where at least the foreign buyer will know that he's compliant. And the supply chain, it means a lot in the supply chain. We talk about all our certifications because these are the basic factors which would project you one apart from those 10. So this compliance could be enabled again, and this Dun & Bradstreet thing is not only restricted to the micro, small enterprise. Even 1,000 crore company if they do want to get into this, maybe we can always explore, and the subsidy is given to all. It's not just limited to the MSME factor alone. And that being, as far as the export orientation is concerned and automation, I think your next panel is there. We also look at it, and that was one subject we never broached. A lot of MSMEs don't know where to go for a software package or a good one, stable service provider. We recently have empaneled with Zoho. And with Zoho, we are trying to provide some discounts there. Being an aggregator model, they are giving us some good cost advantage for the packages which they do, and some select packages they are offering through us, and we can help you to patch across to Zoho and maybe try to go and do your CRM suites or your inventory model or whatever it is. That could really be a good option for you to actually experiment with some cost benefit also. So that can actually enable you to propel yourself to the other kind of or a next dimension. Maybe if you look at it, it's again the skill of the entrepreneur as I perceive. And one last important thing I'll say, because I was seeing all those factors being mentioned, orientation and capacity building and capability building, and funding is one important aspect. Actually, we are a heritage organization which we started off with hire purchase and term loan even before the bank started. So all the Jindals and Bajajes, they had taken their first machine from NSIC. It's a proud legacy which I carry on myself. And if that could be for a Jindal or Bajaj in a generation, they have become a conglomerate. Why not you all? And because of that, eons of experience, we thought instead of having a one-on-one with the entrepreneurs, we might as well go ahead and become a single window. So we have entered into MOUs with all bankers, be it in the private or the nationalized segment, giving the choice of sourcing your credit and maybe the next door banker. And we intervene, we talk with them, and we try to get the best possible credit arrangements for you also, and no harm. And we don't, it's not just a networking or just word of mouth. We physically endorse your projects and recommend it to these people. And the advantage is that normally MSEs don't have the wherewithal to go and talk to so many bankers. They are normally take up with just one banker. So in this thing, we can put it in the ring and look at 2 to 3 bankers and at least get a preliminary nod before you go on to do the documentation. It shouldn't be like after 2 months you get to say yes or no. But here, we try to ask them, at least a decision can be conveyed immediately, because time is money and opportunity doesn't wait. So when one is not convenient, maybe the other one. So we have, in fact, I was just a recent walk-in into Tamil Nadu. Earlier in Karnataka and all, we have facilitated almost 300, 400 crores of credit sourcing to be done through the MSMEs also. So it's maybe the awareness levels or understanding which should hold us back. But I would really request you all to walk in. My office is at Ekadangal, and as I said, visibility is not for the market, it's for us also. I would go ahead and share my number to you. If you could please note down and call me anytime. It's 9445 83173. And Raju Goyal sir, I request you can also put it in Elsina people, those who want to contact. Again, I would repeat 9445 83173. So thank you all the best, and thanks Ramchandran sir, but for you I would not have been standing here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Can I request Ramchandran sir to please come forward and give away a memento? Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it up with a round of applause for Mr. M. Sreevatsan for that presentation of MSME support ecosystem in Tamil Nadu.